but his leadership stood out as much as anything else. I could hear him all the way up in the press box as he directed traffic on the field. He definitely has that alpha mentality at the linebacker position, which is going to help him during the evaluation process leading up to the draft. Guys, I think we need 2 linebackers. And how cool would it be if you take one a little bit later in the draft? When I say later, outside of the first 2 rounds, and they emerge as that guy next to Edgerrin Cooper, like the next Edgerrin Cooper would be awesome. Where do we have Bass at? I want to say Bass is kind of low on our board, but I'm not 100% sure.
169. We have him.
Got it. So we have him at 169. Daniel Jeremiah doesn't have him in his – oh, actually, that's the wrong one there. Does he have Bossa in his top matter of fact, let me just do this.
He has –
not, you're in there.
No, you can do that, guy. You can do it. He does not have him on the big board, though.
Okay. He does.
Yeah, no.
All right, cool. So we're not the only person that sees him kind of late, right? So, yeah, look for him a little later in the draft. But, again, he started to turn heads there at the Senior Bowl practice. Next is Joshua Farmer. This one blew my mind, Emilio. Go find him on the board. It says Farmer battled with another standout on my list, North Dakota State offensive lineman Gray Zabel, whom I'll get to a little bit later. All week long, Farmer's strength and quickness reminded me of Pittsburgh Steelers defensive lineman Keanu Benton. Farmer showed he can play in any scheme. If you want him to 2-gap, he can do that. If you want him to penetrate and get up the field, he has the quickness to do that for you too. I think he's going to be well-liked across the league as teams do more homework on him in the weeks ahead. I'm already looking forward to seeing what he can do at the NFL Scouting Combine. He told my colleague Tom Pelissero that he's going to shock a lot of people with his speed in Indianapolis. So this might be the Braden Fisk this year, boys. Might be. Where do we have him at?
He is swimming down at the bottom, man. We have him at 426.
Yep. So give us a reason why he's that low if you don't care, Emilio.
Yeah, if we're looking at him, his PFF 22 is 318, so not horrible. PFF 23, 760. PFF 24, 571. And then PFF Big Board didn't have him. Consensus had him at 189. So his average is a high average around 380. But DJ had him at 39 on his board.
That's wild. So, I mean, you're seeing this is one of those players, a huge, huge difference in where we have him, where DJ has him. So, again, what's going to happen?
Start to even itself out, though, right? Once we get
the next stage is going to take into account Daniel Jeremiah's big board. So it's going to pop him way up on the board, not quite as high as some would think he would be because, again, we want to take PFF into consideration too. And there'll be that element to our draft board as well. Yeah. So it's going to be fun. All right, let's move it along here. Mike Green, we kind of talked about him earlier, showed the bend on the tape. Mike Green looked like a top 20 pick here in Mobile. His play speed off the edge is real, which helps explain why he led the FBS with 17 sacks in 2024. His bull rush against Oregon offensive tackle Josh Connolly Jr. during a one-on-one drill had everyone talking this week, but there was more than just that one rep to be excited about. Green showed he can win in a variety of ways. We've seen the spin move on the tape. I remember when I first uncovered Mike Green, this was when I first started putting the board together, I had like 20 prospects. He was in that initial tweet. And I messaged Ryan on X, Ryan Schlip, Pack Daddy, and I was like, hey, you seen this Mike Green dude? And he hit me back with some tape. So he was already looking into Mike Green. I think he's the real deal, man. It's going to be exciting to see where he falls. Where do we have him on the board?
Mike Green. Oh, I wasn't even paying attention. I'll just scroll
to the
top.
Right here.
I'll scroll to the top. Yep. 12, man. I really don't see him slipping past. Definitely top 20. I probably pushing top 15. I would say he's probably gone.
Yeah, he got the Senior Bowl week bonus there. He performed all week long. Daniel Jeremiah raved over him. All these players on this list got a slight bonus on our board because we want to take into consideration the All-Star week as well. There was 5 from the East-West Shrine Bowl week that got a little bit of love from NFL.com's one of their other NFL draft insiders. I can't remember the name of the guy, but we went ahead and rolled with that as a qualifier as well. Look at my boy Maxwell Hairston. This is another interesting one here, Emilio. I know he's low on our board. Hairston was one of the buzzy names of the week in Mobile. I really like his ball skills, 5 interceptions in 2023. We talked about he had a much better year in 2023 than he did last year. And he was a big-time competitor in every practice. He helped himself here. Where do we have Harrison? I want to say he's quite a bit lower than what
222 we had Maxwell. His didn't have a 22 grade for him. 23 was 62nd. 24 he was 484. Big board PFF had him at 74. Consensus at 62, and DJ in 33rd. Definitely have him up there, 44 and 57. So that's the kind of guy that's going to work himself out of, if you had a bad PFF grade, you performing well and you being on those, those head scout kind of boards is definitely going to help that average work out.
Probably going to pop up around the 100 mark, I would imagine.
I would think so.
Yeah, it's going to
be. And that's where maybe if we don't keep, like how we've been worried about pulling the trigger early on a corner, because if not, we find ourselves in a dead zone. That could be another guy that could kind of maybe fall to the middle, and we sort of could, grab him late or have an idea on if that was going to be the guy later on.
Yeah. Up next, my boy, Walter Nolan, 6'3", 293 pounds. Nolan's twitch and burst are rare for a player of his size. I still want to see him finish plays a bit more. That issue showed up on tape, and it popped up again when I watched him live this week. That said, there's a lot to dream on with the tools he brings to the table. So Walter Nolan kind of flashed all week long. It's interesting that he pointed out that flaw there. We need to keep an eye on that as we continue to watch tape and we get closer to the draft. But Walter Nolan, Emilio, where do we have him at now on the board, man?
Scroll to the top, man. He's just above Mike Green there at spot 11.
Lord have mercy.
What a dog, tough grade in 22, 360, got better in 23 at 199 and 24. He was 8th best. Big boards had him 33rd and 27th respectively. He's a dog. He is absolutely going to be a dog. If he falls to us, that card, that's where I'm saying that one and Zabel, I think, are going to be, if they're both available, Goody's in a pickle.
Yeah, I agree, man. Again, if you've got two guys like that somehow fall to you and they're in your top tier of talent, you probably pick one, right? You just say, okay, let's go with the one that let's figure out our cluster buster. Let's take him and go. Yep. If you've got 5 or 6, let's say those 2 guys are gone and right below them, you got 5 or 6 guys, might be looking to trade back. Right.
Yeah.
And who knows, you might get to a situation where you're down to those 2 and you want to guarantee you get one and you trade up, that could happen too. So Chris C with the super chat. Thank you, Chris. He says, subscribe and hit that like button. You'll never be disappointed with the content on here. Appreciate you, Chris. Thank you so much for the kind words, man. If you guys would, we hate to ask, I hate to bother you with it, but if you would just take a quick second, hit the like button. Feel free to sub to the channel. We appreciate y'all making us part of your evening here, man. All right. Up next, we've got Shamar Stewart. He was mocked to us, right? I'm trying to think who it was. I think it was Daniel Jeremiah, right? Let's see here. 23. Yeah. Daniel Jeremiah in his mock draft 1.0 had Shamar Stewart out of Texas A&M going to us there, like I said, in the 23 spot. Actually had him going ahead of people like Derek Harmon, James Pierce Jr., TJ Sanders, guys like that. Kyle Krabs, I want to say, had him even higher. He had him at number 9 going to the Saints in his mock draft. But this is what it says about Shamar Stewart. Here we have a height, weight, speed freak. There was more disruption than production from Stewart during his college career. He posted just 4.5 sacks in 37 games, but I thought he had an impactful week in practices. All of his traits are elite, and he showed he's starting to figure some things out as a pass rusher. This is my least favorite, Emilio, of some of the top guys. Everybody loves this dude, but in the description, you always see he's a freak. He's a physical freak. He's a physical freak. And it's like, I've heard this 1,000 times, and it's a project. He's raw. It's a ball of clay. It's going to take a few years, right? Kind of had that project with LVN. LVN was like, this dude, he is just built perfect for football. He's a physical freak, but he's raw. He needs to develop some pass rush moves. I'm just so sick of that. I don't mean to be negative here, but of all the players, Shamar Stewart's the one that I'm kind of like, I don't know. Where do we have him on the board?
He is 37th. We still have him as an edge. He PFF 22, 855, 23, 333, and then 24, he was 95th. So obviously got better throughout the years. But like you said, just because he's a freak and everything, PFF had him 19th consensus had him 25th. He did get that bump for the Senior Bowl performance, right? Yep. But and then DJ as well had him 27th, and 33rd had him 16th. I think that's something that Goody would love to be behind, just because he likes that sort of stuff, and that's our first round mentality. But let's take a step inside in the first round, though. Offensive, defense. I mean, I want that Walter Nolan. I want, give us a 3 or, give us an interior kind of O-lineman.
Yeah, Joe in the chat said, didn't I just hear they said Shamar was the most dominating player in reps this week? I didn't hear that.
They were saying that in the PFF podcast. I'm pretty sure that they said that he just absolutely crushed it. And he was just like the one that had the best reps. So maybe good for him, right? Hopefully he goes and soaks up on others. At this point, we want these kind of guys to do really well, soak up a spot in front of us. Let's let one fall to us that we had our eye on.
Right. And again, there's nothing wrong with having those crazy physical traits. It's very, very important, obviously. But right. I want the dude that's got the traits and they have the production, right? That perfect world is what I'm looking for there. So let's see. I think Drew D says, Shamar Stewart is my edge 10, but I don't account for physical characteristics as much until the combine. So he'll probably skyrocket up your boards once you get to the combine the way that you
6'6", 290. I mean, yeah, his RAS is going to be probably through the roof. So
absolute freak. We'll see, man. He may grow on me too. I'm not saying he's a bad player. I'm not saying it's a bad pick at 23. Most likely, the way DJ's talking about him, he'll probably be gone by the time we pick. But there's just other players in front of him that I really like. Like I could name off, several of them. Like Nick Scourton's one. He's at the Senior Bowl this week. Really like him. Another edge defender on our board ahead of him is Princely, who a lot of people aren't talking about, man. Yeah. Princely Umanamilan, I think is how you say his name, out of Ole Miss. He's one that's in the 19 spot for us, man. He just dominated. He was in 24. He was the 4th highest graded edge defender, and I think he's 53rd on the 33rd team big board. However, Daniel Jeremiah's big board he's outside of Daniel Jeremiah's top 50, so we don't have a grade there yet. So he'll probably sink a little bit when we put that average in. But right now he's higher. Jack Sawyer, I've got him in the 16 spot. Daniel Jeremiah had him in the 40 spot, and the 33rd team had him at 75. So he will be dropping on our board when we average that out at the next qualifier. But just right now, these are some of the guys. James Pierce Jr. is another one, which – when we mentioned James Pierce Jr. and like, hey, man, would you be okay with taking him at 23? You got a mixed bag. Some people were saying he won't be there. There's no way. There's others that saying, no, I don't want him with the 23rd pick. He's not worth it. Daniel Jeremiah's got him at 20, and the 33rd team has him at 13 right now. So I'm just saying if James Pierce falls, those are just a handful of guys. Mike Green, another one, right? Another edge defender. And then, of course, it goes without saying Abdul Carter will probably be a top 3 pick. So there's several guys I like ahead of Shamar Stewart, but if they're all gone and he's the best on the board, I'd have no problem with the pick. I would.
How big is Preston? How big was Preston?
Preston
Smith was he like 6'5", 6?
Huge. I'll get it right here. Let me Google it.
Because if that's the kind of shape we're talking, I guess I'm not mad at it. I just need to watch a little bit more of Stewart. Was he hand in the dirt edge or no?
6'5", 265.
Yeah. Smith. So another 30 pounds on him. If he's explosive with that kind of weight, all right. But let's see where he weighs in at and, kind of go from there. But yeah, if you're overpowering a tackle because you're basically the same size as him, maybe we can talk.
Yeah. Coach Lynn says Green, Sawyer, and Pierce Jr. over Stewart.
I love Pierce Jr. I do love Pierce Jr.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. All right, let's move it along here. Next, Mason Taylor. All right. Taylor makes it all look so easy, much like his dad. You're going, who? Pro Football Hall of Famer Jason Taylor did for so many years in the NFL. Mason Taylor caught the ball well and ran great routes in practices. He's only 20 years old, but he looks like he's going to be ready-made with no assembly required at the next level. I see some similarities to Zach Ertz when he was entering the league back in 2013. Taylor should have a long NFL career. So this is Jason Taylor's son. Obviously, Jason Taylor, the great pass rusher that played for Miami for so many years.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah. Now, obviously, Mason Taylor's aunt's in the news right now. We won't get into all that if you guys know who I'm talking about there. But anyway, Mason Taylor tight end. out of LSU, Emilio. Where do we have him at, man? We got several LSU or several tight ends in this draft that are first round talent, it seems like.
Yeah, we have Mason at 63rd. I'm sorry, 64th. But yeah, we do have a few tight ends here in the top 100. I would say. I think that there's going to be maybe one or maybe two, at least one. I think is going in the first round. Maybe two. I mean,
I've got two in the top 10, man. We got him. Tyler Warren in the 6th spot. That could change as we get to the next qualifier. Colston Loveland is in the 9th spot.
Right.
I'm trying to think. I want to say there was another one. Harold Fannin Jr. is in the 26th spot. And then I want to say the next one was outside of the first round.
Mason.
Yeah, then Mason Taylor. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
that's
now,
crazy.
Again,
just times have changed, right, Clay? The fact that 3 tight ends are going and, or possibly 3 tight ends in the first round, that's wild.
Yeah, it really is. And next you've got Azare Thomas, cornerback out of Florida State. I had Thomas ranked number 43 in my initial top 50, and I might have to think about moving him up the board a bit next time, given how he performed in practices this week. Like Harrison, Thomas competed every day. I love his length, fluidity, and physicality. So Azare Thomas.
We have him 116.
116. So, and again, DJ's got him outside of the top 50, but he's saying that he's 43, I'm sorry. And he may even climb up even further. So that'll get adjusted as we move forward. He'll definitely be climbing up our board here in the next couple of days. So very interesting. All right. Anybody else? Kyle Williams. This one was wild, Amelia. Wait till you see where he's at. Kyle Williams, wide receiver out of Washington State. I knew Williams had good speed, but what impressed me in practice was the polish he showed in his release. He created separation throughout the week and caught the ball well. He's put himself in the mix to be drafted on day 2, and he should benefit from the receiver class not being quite as strong as others we have seen in recent years. Williams helped himself a lot. Where do we have him, Amelia? I'll hold my breath here.
429.
Why is he down that far? Talk to me, man. What's bringing
his PFF didn't look bad. 22, he was 253. 23 was 389. 24, he was 64th best. PFF didn't even have him. Consensus had him at 840.
Wow, 840 on the consensus big board. That's definitely what's bringing him down. We might want to make an exception for him. That feels like a mistake. You know what I mean? 800.
I don't know. Well, let me double check. Let me see if they changed anything on it.
Maybe we should. Yeah. If it's changed at this point, we'll change it now. But if it hasn't changed up to now, we're not going to let it sway us. All right. How about that?
Okay. That's fair.
Hey, fam, you're such a jerk, man. He says, wow, this guy going to be bald in 5 years. Unbelievable. What's wrong with you, man? It's like the Jerry Rice hairline. You guys remember his braids started back here on the backside of his career? Like his braids literally started back there. Aaron Jones, same thing. But I can't.
Nope, they still have him at 840. Kyle Williams, Washington State.
Hey, got to do what you got to do. You know, we're going to leave him. And
it'll help. I mean, if DJ gives him a grade or anything like that, I mean, he got to bump a little bit. But if he gets any sort of grade from anybody else.
Yeah, it's, wherever he falls on DJ's top 150, if he lands in the top 150, that'll help him a ton.
Yeah, right.
33rd team didn't have him in their top 100, did they? So there you go. Maybe they're on to something. All right, next, your boy, Gray Zabel. Zabel is in consideration for the first round after the way he played this week. He looks like a day 1 starter. We knew he would be ready to compete at guard and tackle, but he looked really comfortable at center in practices as well. If you can play every position on the offensive line, that is going to endear you to a lot of GMs, especially Brian Gutekunst, and coaches around the league. Gray Zabel, offensive tackle, but like I said, could play all 3 positions. At least he kind of proved that here at the Senior Bowl week, North Dakota State. What do we have?
We have him 22nd.
I would be totally on board with that pick, man.
Yeah,
totally.
Oh, absolutely.
Imagine you draft him and he starts day 1 as your center, and he's just a stud. That would be freaking awesome.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. I'll take it. I mean, hey, he's a dog. He knows what it's like to work up there in the cold. I mean, I'll take it.
Yeah, definitely. And that is the end of that article. Again, that was Daniel Jeremiah's 12 prospects that improved their stock there at the Senior Bowl. Go give it a like, a follow. Make sure you're following Daniel Jeremiah on Twitter. He is unbelievable. Just the perfect follow this time of year, no doubt. Emilio, do we want to hit on anything else here this evening? We probably got we can go another 20 minutes or we can wrap it up early. What do you want to do, man? Is there anything you want to talk about?
Can you pull up 33rd team's Twitter? Did you see that picture they put up of the Lions going through all their coordinators? Did you see that one?
No. Was it? So it's on their website?
It should be on their Twitter, yeah.
On their Twitter. Okay, let me look real quick.
Tell us a little bit about it was an image of all the coaches at the Lions, or that had left the Lions, and I was just trying to see, it's going to be tough for them, right? They lost their OC, they lost their DC, and then, like we've always talked about, if you lose a guy, or if a guy leaves your squad, they've worked with other coaches that are in there. That's something that he's going to have to replace. It's going to be a find and replace mission. You got to get other talent in there. I think it said they lost 7 coaches.
Yeah. Here you go. Talk to me. Tell us about it here.
Yeah, let's see here. So we got Ben Johnson from Detroit to Chicago head coach, Aaron Glenn from Detroit to New York Jets head coach, Terrell Williams to Detroit D-line to coach New England's DC. We have Steve Hayden, Detroit's tight end coach, to New York Jets O-line coach. And then we have Antoine Randall from Detroit to Chicago, wide receiver coach, assistant head coach. JT Barrett from Detroit to Chicago for a quarterback coach. And then Tanner Engstrad from Detroit to New York Jets as OC. You lost 3 to each of your OCs. Or I'm sorry, 3 total, right? But 2 extras to each of your OCs, and then your D-line coach gets snagged for the fun of it. I mean, now they're going to really see what it's all about, what it's like to – when we saw with Matt, everybody kind of, you get the churn out. We've been lucky with Steno. Joe Barry's gone because we weren't happy. Hafley's in here. We got a couple of other interviews. So you're going to get that overturn, but let's see how Detroit handles it after a winning season and see if they can't – keep the train on the tracks.
You said we got lucky with Steno, right? Look at this.
Uh-oh.
Breaking news. our Aaron Rodgers, not the Aaron Rodgers, is breaking. Stenavich getting looked at by Houston as OC. So Steno getting another look there, man.
I mean, we're going to be coming up to how many? It's just camp that's left. And we got our quarterbacks coach. He retired. So, I mean, we haven't lost a bunch, I don't think.
Yeah, here's the thing too, like the precedent that's involved. We always talk precedent on here, right? So if Steno does get hired by Houston, who would you promote to your OC? In the past, what did he do? He had obviously Stenavich was the offensive line coach. So does it become Coach Butkus as your offensive coordinator? Or would you bypass him and go to Jason Vrabel, your wide receiver coach, right? Mm-hmm. Now, last year we were talking about how they done such a good job with the wide receivers. We were really impressed with Vrabel. Like he'll probably be a hot commodity. This year, they were, 3rd or 4th most drops in the league, so it kind of his stock falls down a little bit. Or do you go outside the building and get somebody? You want to know my horror story? Who I would be terrified that he would bring in as OC is?
Let's hear it.
Mike LaFleur, his brother. That would suck. Me no like you that, Jam. Me no like you when the brothers, like the nepotism and all that. That's Mike LaFleur's had opportunities all over the league, and he seems to have not lived up to. I don't even know if there's that much hype around him. I don't mean to be a negative Nancy here, but I really wouldn't like that move. I'm a little scared of that. Who would be the OC he could bring?
Yeah,
in?
You don't want Matt out there.
Exactly. What about bringing in Mike McCarthy as the offensive coordinator? Bro, I would lose my mind. It's not going to happen. He's still pissed off at Mark Murphy. I know that. Mark Murphy fired him mid-season, didn't even let him talk to his team. Yeah. Come upstairs. I want to talk to you. Get you cracked.
But Mark's going to be out here in a couple months, right?
That's true. So, I don't know, man. We'll see. Stenavich, though, I don't think Stenavich will get that job down there, but I could be wrong. I'm trying to think of who else is more qualified, though, to be honest with you. And
how long has he been? He's been an OC for 3 years now, 2-3 years.
And we just got Slowick from Houston, right? Am I thinking right? Didn't Slowick just come from Houston? And he's going to be some kind of assistant. So Slowick might become we might switch OCs. That would be wild, wouldn't it? If
that would be pretty crazy.
Yeah, they just within house said, you know what, Slowick, you're the new OC since Steno went to Houston. They fire Slowick as offensive coordinator. He comes over here. Stenovich takes his job, replaces him, and then we replace Steno with Slowick. That would be wild. Absolutely wild. So.
Because, I mean, the thing is, I mean, when we're bringing in an OC, it's, you know, Matt's always talked about it in his presser, but he's bouncing off ideas from Steno, and Steno and him are bouncing ideas. Steno's in the box all the time. But it's not going to be an OC that's going to be calling plays. So it's going to be, I mean, not literally calling plays, but you're going to have a lot of input. So we do want someone either that might challenge Matt, that might get him to, you know, think outside the box, push his boundaries a little bit. You might not want just, you know, someone that's, you know, yes man or whatever. So I wouldn't be opposed to an outside search, but you're right. It would, if that's the case, probably an inside hire, move them up and keep the offense churning.
Right. Drew D says, Ed Policy's big move, bringing Mike McCarthy back. LOL. Yeah, I don't see it happening. I honestly don't. I don't think McCarthy would do it. I think if you bring him in as a special advisor, like, hey, he's sitting out this year. Hey, Mike, would you come in and be a special advisor? You live in Green Bay. He loves Green Bay. That would be more of a
Got
role.
A street. Doesn't he have a street? He can go.
Oh, are you kidding me? Yeah, I love Mike McCarthy.
Everybody walks in, Mike.
You're an amazing person. You know that, don't you?
It just feels like that would be a long shot to bring him back into the building to be the special assistant to the guy who took his job. Just seems kind of, especially where there's no ties. There's zero ties between Mike McCarthy and Matt LaFleur, you know. So
that's very
true. That's what Drew went on to say too. There you go. McCarthy would never take a job beneath head coach, though. Yeah, I agree with that. 2-0 for this, Dan Orlovsky. Hey, listen, boys, people see that and they laugh, but there was a little bit of smoke there. I felt like. What do you think? Would you be okay with Dan Orlovsky coming in as the OC? Hey, listen, he understands the game.
He does.
He doesn't know where the back line is in the end zone. I'm just saying.
I mean, yeah, like I said, I wouldn't be opposed really to a fresh, you know, a new take. It's somebody that, you know, maybe likes Matt, maybe likes what he does, but thinks that there are a few things that he could adjust to make it better. It's not that you need someone there to challenge him. You just need someone there to kind of branch his ideas. You know, might be heading down the right road, but there might be a little shortcut or, you know, a little off-road trail that we can take for the sightseeing along the way. But like, let's get just a little bit more to it. You know, because you got to stay fresh. I know Matt does it. I know he's got all those tabs up, but
yeah. AFAM says, Magic Mike, that's a Photoshop waiting to happen. Somebody make that happen for me. You're hearing my voice? I need a Mike McCarthy on a Magic Mike Photoshop.
Wow.
Right? That's AFAM's favorite movie, by the way. Joyce Martha in the chat. I thought Slowick was a good pick, was picked up. Was he really? I was thinking the Packers hired him. We might be talking about two different people. I was thinking his name was Slowick with a W. She might have just had a typo there. Let me check real quick. Slowick. Bobby Slowick, right? Bobby Slowick is I didn't know he went to Green Bay Southwest High. That's pretty wild. Unless it's a Green Bay in a different city. Bobby Slowick with a W. She might be thinking of someone else too. Is an American football coach who previously served as an offensive coordinator for the Houston Texans. He began his career, blah, 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 blah. Where did he go? I was thinking so he was fired. Come on, can somebody give me some kind of update here? Let me go.
We're sitting here. Matt's over here like
pat you on the butt and you poop my hand. So
this is how you get to an hour 20 right here, baby. Texans OC Bobby Slowick back home in Green Bay to face the Packers. That wasn't it. So did I dream that, Emilio?
You could have. I mean, you really could have. It's been a long week.
Wow. So Wikipedia should have everywhere he's been on the right-hand side is what.
Here we go. Old for this, speaking the truth. This show sucks.
That's a fact. Are you kidding me? There's Bob Slowick, but that's not Bobby Slowick, right?
Crystal over here is spinning some. Crystal's got a little take here. Has anyone seen the articles on the refs getting fined and terminated? Just curious if it's actually true. The articles were of the Packers last game and the Chiefs and Bills last game and Eagles and Commanders last game. I personally have not seen that, but I wouldn't be opposed to them. I mean, let's get them a full-time job. Let's get them healthcare. Let's get them benefits. You know, you got, I mean, it could be like teachers. You got the season, you got a preseason, you got to come up to. You still got to get stuff done in the off season. I want, some study material done. I feel like if I mean, it's not like we don't have fans of football. You're telling me you can't go find 50 refs that are ready to go, that know the game inside and out, that, could basically be a coach.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything on this Bobby Slowick thing. So
you dreamt it.
Disregarded. I might have been in the bottle that night. I don't know.
I mean,
I was sitting out on the back deck with a fire, me and Lincoln. I'm going, Bobby Slowick. That's awesome. He signed with Green Bay, Link, and Link went.
Yeah.
Dude's so out of pocket.
Whatever floats your boat, man.
I'm glad you said to bring this up, though, man. That's really cool. That we're going to see what Dan Campbell can do now, right? This is his first sign of adversity. He's kind of had everything going for him up to this point.
So that's it. How are you the team's got to rally. The team's got to be ready to follow behind you. You talked it from the first press conference, but you've also had that team there basically since your first press conference. I mean, it's and you lost them all. They're all gone now. You got to replace 7 people. That's crazy.
Yeah, they're ready to rally. All right, this right here is what they're into. This is Jacob on date night right now. I promise.
Get ready to go.
Perfect drop. He was. He's probably like to me. He reminds me of David Hasselhoff eating that cheeseburger when he was drunk as a skunk. You ever seen that video, Emilio? Please tell me you've seen that video. Oh my god! So. I wish we could show it. I'm sure somebody's got copyright.
We'll watch it after this.
We will. I'm telling you guys, the after show sometimes is hilarious. As soon as the show ends, we start pulling up videos and watching. Oh my god, it's hilarious, dude! It goes off the rails immediately.
It does.
Somebody in the chat, tell me you've seen that video of David Hasselhoff eating the cheeseburger so drunk he can't even hold it together. Like it is hilarious, man. Joyce Martha says, Clayton, I'm looking now and I was thinking Seattle. Oh, I thought she was talking about David Hasselhoff video. She's talking about Slowick. Thank you so much, Joyce Martha. You were awesome. Yeah, people seen it. Joe's seen it. Iconic.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll
so I need to see it. That's fair. We can do that. But yeah, no, like I said, I just wanted to bring it up. I wasn't sure if you saw it, but it's going to be us at some point. I'm just saying, I think Matt's done a great job in carrying that, we haven't really noticed kind of the turnover that's happened throughout, but 7 to the Lions, man, they're going to have to they're going to have to show up this next year.
Yeah, no doubt, man. All right. So there you go. We'll see if Dan Campbell can continue the magic over there in Motown as they try to replace all these coaches. Go ahead, Amelia.
I was going to say, did you want to show them the board real quick? Is that where you were heading?
Let's hit it. Let's show them the board. We got a little bit of an update here, guys. All right. And so basically where we're up to, everything right now is sorted by our normal average that we had, created the other day. Right. Yep. And then, so that was the original grade. Now with the Senior Bowl and Shrine Week bonuses, right, the 5-point bonuses, we sort the new average, and now it realigns here, okay? And you get a new leaderboard and slightly adjust. Now, if you'll notice off to the right here, what we have is Daniel Jeremiah's big board is going to come into factor now. And all he's done so far is the top 50. It's a little bit later in the offseason that he does his complete big board. Really, he just does top 150s, all I've ever noticed. I don't think he goes to 200. But, again, that'll provide a little bit of a bonus for those players he's heavy on. The reason I do that is Daniel Jeremiah is going to carry a third of our score's weight because he's kind of like, we look at him like our lead scout or head scout, right? His input is going to carry more value as anybody's, along with Kyle Krabs, who is over at the 33rd team, okay? So that's the 33rd team column there. So once we get past that point, you're going to get a new average grade that's going to be the newest score, and then we await Combine and Pro Day. And the way that works is if someone scores a 9+ RAS, which is Relative Athletic Score, if you guys don't know what that is, go check it out. Do a little research on it. It's done by Math Bomb. They do an excellent job at that every year. 9+ RAS gets you another 5-point bonus. So you'll subtract 5 off that score and climb up the board a little bit more. If they score an 8+, between 8 and 8.9, then you'll get a 3-point bonus. And if you score a 7 to 7.9, you'll get a 1-point bonus is how that'll work. Then after that, coming down all the way up to like 2 or 3 days before the draft, Emilio, Greg Cosell's just rapid firing prospects on the Ross Tucker football podcast and other podcasts that he does. And anytime that he is has a glowing review of a prospect, we'll give a Greg Cosell bonus. So he's kind of like our senior advisor in the draft room as well.
I'm going to need to make notes because I've been starting to listen to a couple of those Ross Tucker ones, and he's got his draft one, and I know Greg's hopped on a few of them because he's on the install too. So it's I'm going to have to remember to make notes when I hear those so we can put them on there.
Every year leading up to the draft, I'm listening to those podcasts. Eric will see me shut the mower down, right? Throw her up, throw the emergency clip on it, and I'm on the phone making a note. He's like, you listen to Greg Cosell? Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Got to get that info.
Lines all shaky. Stripes are all messed up. Who cares? Since
you're helping build the board this year, what we'll do is have a text thread. On that text thread, let's just copy and paste. Greg Cosell, love this guy. And even if he says he doesn't like anyone, there's not going to be a penalty for that, but we want to know that information. You know what I mean?
Maybe give him a little color notice or a little highlighter marker or something. We'll figure it out. But yeah, I like it because then you said, like you said, down the road we're going to build the vertical board. So it'll be good. Or the horizontal. I'm sorry, big board. So I'm excited.
Yeah, and the other thing that we're going to do here too. I was trying to get back over there. I don't know what I've done, but I can't get back to the left now.
Oh, it's on. Yeah, there you go.
There we go. So the other thing that's going to happen is if someone meets the maximum criteria of the Packers, meaning the Packers bring them in for a top 30 visit, right? So you got the visit aspect. The top 30 visit's huge. If they met with them in general, okay, that'll count as a visit. If they have a visit, they meet the physical threshold, which we'll have to run down all that information of each position in the physical threshold. They meet that requirement of the perfect age, that type of thing, right? Goody DiCaprio over there.
Mm-hmm.
All those things line up perfectly. You're going to end up with like the perfect prospects for the Packers. And again, last year we finished with, I think it was 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see. Yeah, 5, 6 prospects that lined up absolutely perfect for the Packers. Those prospects were running back Ray Davis, defensive lineman Michael Hall Jr., I think was his name, edge defender Marshawn Nealon and Austin Booker, linebacker Tyron Hopper, which we drafted, and safety Katan Oladapo that we drafted. So we had that narrowed down to 6 players that was just like everything. The stars line up for the Packers to take this guy if he's available in terms of interest. 2 of the 6 got drafted by the Packers. So
maybe we'll just keep adding cheese emblems, like when they meet them at the combine and stuff, or they do that. We're just going to someone's going to have like 18 cheese emblems at the end. We're going to have to just shrink it down and put a number next to it and say, this is the dude that's going to end up there.
Power, right?
Yeah, I like that.
And it's going to be like the Ohio State, they put the Buckeyes on the helmets. It's going to be like that. They're going to have a bunch of cheese in them. So
speaking of Buckeyes, Aaron Rodgers was asking, what's your thoughts on drafting Henderson out of Ohio State? Asking me, Aaron, I'll tell you, man, looking at the board, 2nd round pick, he's 51st on our board. They kind of have him at a 3rd round pick, PFF and the big board, but DJ and 33rd are also completely different on him as well. You got he's 36 for DJ, definitely, edge of the 1st round, 2nd, and then 33rd team has him 3rd round plus. I love the way he runs. It's just we're not taking a running back, right? I don't think that's going to be unless he falls to us in the 5th round and Lloyd didn't work out. I mean, we've got someone in the hopper already. We have Jacobs. We've got Emmanuel that played well. Brooks was basically a fullback / running back. He did a lot of blocking. If we're not going to bring in somebody that can do that, I don't see somebody kind of eclipsing that, especially with Lloyd coming.
And me and Aaron were having a conversation about this over on X. And what he mentioned is, hey, what about getting him in here? Let's say he falls to us, right? And just full transparency here, Aaron, it looks like he's probably pre-combine, pre-Greg Cosell. He's probably going to drop a little bit on our board, I would imagine. He's going to sink just a touch. So probably around the 55 to 60 mark is where he's going to finish before all the combine stuff. And he may rip that up. I think he's a hell of a running back. I do.
Yeah, right.
But what he was saying, Emilio, was think about it. You really like Marshawn Lloyd, right? Mm-hmm. You've got Josh Jacobs already. What if you go draft him and then in a year or two you move on from Josh Jacobs? You remember when we signed Josh Jacobs, we were like, this is really just a 1-year deal. The guaranteed money is just a 1-year deal. And
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs went absolutely off, right? But you know how Goody is, man. He's willing to move on before. But the precedent suggests that he will allow people to play their contract out in that position, right? So think about that too. Like, at the running back position, he let Aaron Jones essentially play the contract out. He restructured a couple times, and then we ended up cutting him out, right? No, he was a free agent, right? Or did we cut him and then tried to re-sign him? And I'm trying to think of how that happened. Aaron Jones.
I don't remember. I want to say cut and tried to re-sign him back because we were just off $1 million.
So there is a little precedent for that in the final year of the contract when it comes to running backs for Goody. So with Josh Jacobs, that would mean 2 years from now. So what he's saying is, what if this dude falls in your lap, right? What if Henderson falls in your lap, and then you look up and you go ahead and draft him, and it's him, Marshawn Lloyd, and Josh Jacobs for 2 years, and then he takes over for Josh Jacobs when Josh Jacobs leaves, and you're off and running. I can understand the thought process.
That's true.
But again, we just got so many other needs. I can't justify taking a running back when Emmanuel Wilson was a top 10 graded running back. You know what I mean?
And we really like Chris Brooks, who we picked up from free agent, out of a practice squad. There's so many. I feel like you can find a decent enough running back out of free agency or pluck from a practice squad or something along those lines. That can happen. It's not something I think you need to chase down unless your team is absolutely hurting for one. If you haven't had one in 5 years, you need to take, like the Falcons taking Bijan. All right. Now they've got a back that can do it a lot, do it all. And whoever gets Ashton Genty, all right, yeah, you're going to have a dog now. If he goes to the Cowboys, if he goes, wherever he goes, I can see, you can build a franchise around it. We just saw it with Saquon, but it's got to be kind of the right situation, right scenario. I think we already have a dude, and maybe next year I would be more willing to take a pull at it.
Yeah, Coach Lynn says Dylan could be really good with all the gap runs we do now. It's such a what's the word I'm looking for? It's such a disappointment from A.J. Dillon's standpoint that the year that we decide to go with a lot of gap run, a lot of duo things that are inside that kind of fits A.J. Dillon's running style is the year he gets hurt. You know what I mean? It's just like, that's so tough. I think that A.J. Dillon's probably played his last snap in Green Bay. That'd be my guess. But you never know, man. You never know. I'm with you, Coach. He would have fit what we did this year way better than in the past when we were running a lot of stretch runs, right? A lot of outside zones. So, yeah. Drew D, please, Genty, don't go to the Bears, man. If they get him, Genty's the real deal, boys. I mean, he's on our board here. He is the fourth best prospect. He is in that top tier. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 prospects in the top tier as it sits right now. And that is Mason Graham, defensive lineman out of Michigan, Travis Hunter, cornerback out of Colorado, Abdul Carter, edge defender out of Penn State, and then running back Ashton Genty.
He'd be one that's probably not going to pass out of the top 10. He's just going to somehow, some team's going to pull the trigger on him. If he is that freaky, I mean, he was 20th, first, 5th, or 5th on the board. I mean, he's been elite year after year.
Yeah, he's a stud, man. He's an absolute stud. So, all right, let's get out of here, Emilio. We were trying to make an hour 20, now we're hour 25. So that's funny how that works, right?
Oh, yeah.
Anything else you want to hit on, man?
Appreciate my sister. Got the Packaholic shirt.
Ooh, sharp.
It also works. It also works because I got the Milwaukee pack out. So Milwaukee sponsored the show. We got the driver here right on board. But yeah, no. Hey man, I'm glad we're here. Senior Bowl tomorrow, man. It's gonna be a good one.
I was looking for something I can promote, but I ain't got anything, man. Sprite Zero. There you go.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Put the piece away, Clayton. We don't need to see that.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that. Tonight's show is brought to you by Springfield. You know what I'm saying?
Get ready to go.
There you go. All right. You guys know, anybody who knows me personally, I'm a gun enthusiast. So, all right, Emilio, thank you for your time, man. It's a lot of fun, dude.
Absolutely, Clay. Can't wait.
All right.
And we're going to tomorrow. I was going to say, you could
go ahead. You good?
No, you're going to hit it.
All right. We're not doing a show tomorrow. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah.
We may do a morning show. I'm not 100% sure. I was thinking about taking the morning off because tomorrow at 1:30 Central, 2:30 Eastern time, we're going to be going live for a watch party for the Senior Bowl, just like we did for the Shrine Bowl. Okay, guys, this is the main event. The Shrine Bowl is awesome. Don't get me wrong, but you're talking about a ton of top 100 prospects who are going to be competing tomorrow in that Shrine Bowl. So we're going to do a live watch party during the Shrine Bowl. We'll be bringing you all the news updates from around the Packers, anything else. We'll be talking prospects. You guys hit us up in the Patreon group, what prospects you like. Hit us up in the chat with them when we go live as well. And we'll just kind of watch the Senior Bowl together and see who's flashing and who is. It's going to be a lot of fun, man. Order some pizza, get some wings brung in. That's the day it's okay to drink a daddy soda before 5 o'clock. All right. You can have your daddy soda or two, watch a little football. It's going to be absolutely awesome.
All that tape we've been watching this week, Clay, that's all Senior Bowl stuff. All those one-on-ones, all that stuff we've been getting excited about. Everybody we've heard about this week. The Shrine game happened. Everything we've heard about has been Senior Bowl.
Right. It is. We were talking Senior Bowl practice while we were doing the watch party for the Shrine Bowl.
Right.
Because the Senior Bowl is so – it's hard to – I mean, you see it. It's the background here, right? That's the setup there down in Mobile, Alabama. So it's going to be fun, man. Make sure you guys set your calendar, set your
alarm clock 3 times. Get your breakfast in, get a little something in the stomach before we start drinking, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So, again, we're going live at 1:30 Central, 2:30 Eastern. We'll get the stream go ahead and created tonight, so you guys can go ahead and set your reminder on that. It's going to be a blast. So, and we're doing the giveaway again. If you want to get yourself into the contest for the giveaway, the autographed Dorsey Levens jersey, make sure you're a member of our Patreon group, one of the 3 tiers, or a member here on YouTube for tomorrow. Okay, we're going to do that probably about halfway through the stream. We'll spin the wheel. Everybody's name will go on that's contributing there. That's a part of our Patreon group, and we'll give that autographed jersey away to a lucky winner. So again, thank you. How
about these hands?
It's coming.
Hey, you ain't gonna be able to avoid it tomorrow. We'll see y'all tomorrow, guys. Everybody have a great night. Appreciate your time. Go.
There we go. Bye, guys.